Welcome everyone to another Trax on Sundays. I'm Trax the Max and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, my friends, we are going to pull some shards for a guaranteed Void Legendary, namely Sugar. Now, I know there's been a lot of outrage in the community. This is too many shards. We should not pull. I hope people are not going to pull for this champion. So we'll show Plarium. We'll show them who's boss. Really, at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself if you're not pulling for this champion. And the reason is, unless you have this champion, or you have no need for this champion, or you're not a collector or whatever, this is your best opportunity to get this champion. In the time I've been playing, which isn't very long compared to the old school content creators, 19 months right now myself, and in that time I've, as you can see here, this guy Constantine, I have a Ryo Bone Spear, and my first Void Legendary was a Gurgo. This is pulled from over 550 shards if my counters are correct, but it's definitely somewhere there. It could be, it's 550 or more than that for 3 legendaries that I've pulled during 2x's, because that's what I was mainly keeping my shards for, was 2x void events. Why? Well, as long as I didn't have the faction wars completely completed, as long as I didn't have Lydia, I wanted 2x events so I could get more chances of getting some good void epics to help me complete that. But once I had that done, which was around October, I guess, last year, I decided, you know what? Now I don't really need these epics for these faction wars. Let's save up for a guaranteed legendary event. So October the 2nd was the last day that I pulled void shards, and I've been stacking them up since then. And we had one guaranteed legendary event in the meantime, which was a little from the Sylvan Watchers faction, but I didn't have 110 or 120 shards. It was 110 or 120. I don't remember, but it was too many because I only had, I believe, 80 or 90 at that point. So I didn't go for him, but I decided at that moment that I would try and go for almost any Void Legendary that they would present to us. I say almost any because there's obviously a couple that aren't very good, and I know Sugar isn't very, I mean, he has his uses here and there. You don't really see him in endgame teams or anything like that. I know all these things. However, it is very hard to, get these Void Legendaries if you're not spending as much money. And I do spend money, but I don't whale out like some people do. So we accumulated 144 shards, as you can see here, and 3 of those shards were bought. All the rest are Clan Boss, Doom Tower, events and tournaments, and login, of course. That's it. 3 were bought from the New Year's pack that was like 12 euros, and it had a sacred, 3 voids, and 4 or 5 ancients or something. I don't remember, but mostly the sacred and 3 voids for 12 euros was kind of a good deal. So I think that's fair. I think that's a good reason and a good moment if you're going to spend in a game to do it at a point like that. Anyway, so 143 or 144, what did I say? 144 shards. So 141 shards we have saved up since October the 2nd. Now, there's an event going on also, 10x for Ursaga Warcaller, and I don't have a Necro on my account. I also don't have an Ursaga on my account. I barely have any protection at all on my account for my nukers in Arena. So I would not mind getting this. Would I like a Necro? more, yeah, of course. I would gladly take a Necro over Ursuga. But I don't think Ursuga is bad per se, right? She will still probably do a lot for your team. At least I think so. I know a lot of people will say that she fell out of the meta and whatnot, but I don't know. I have the feeling like if you're that end game, you can probably counter anything that's out there. There's probably not that many compositions out there that you cannot counter. So does it really matter? No, not too much, but I think she's pretty cool and I wouldn't mind getting her. I probably wouldn't book her because, well, books are just a huge problem. So I'd just be playing her purely for this passive, I think. Maybe even for this aura. And put her in the lead, which is always a good idea if you have a tanky champion in the lead. The way damage works in this game. Yeah. I do not really want another Madame Ceres. Very odd, but in October I was really looking for her still, or right before October, I guess. But these days I have 2 built already, one in stone skin and one just pure accuracy. So I kind of got that covered. I haven't really had the situation pop up in 3v3 that I actually needed 3 Madams for any reason, so yeah, it's not that important for me. As you can see, I cleared up 110 spaces for us today to pull 110 void shards. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna pull 1 or 2 more. It's gonna be that amount. If you're still doubting why is this guy doing this, why is he gonna pull this many shards, so it comes down to this, okay? A 2x event is what people suggest you should pull out for, and then not these 110 ones. The difference is, though, a 2x does not guarantee you anything. It guarantees you 0. And I have gotten 0 a lot of times in this game. In fact, as I stated before, I have pulled more than 550 void shards to get 3 legendaries, and 80% at least of those void shards, I'd say 90% probably even, were pulled during a 2x event. Okay, so just try to grasp that for a moment. It's like flipping a coin 100 times. You know, normally you should be getting 50 times heads, 50 times tails, but that's not the reality. The reality will show you that you're gonna have times that you're gonna flip 70 times heads and only 30 times tails. And it's the same thing with these shards. You have 1% chance to pull a legendary during a 2 times event. 1%. If your luck isn't there, you're just gonna pull 200 shards before you get that, or 220 actually, because the mercy starts at 200 and then you still have to pull more shards, right? I believe that's what happened for my first ever legendary, by the way. But yeah, so just let that sink for a moment before you get out your pitchforks and be like, hey guy, you shouldn't be doing this. No, everyone should, first off, everyone should just do whatever they want. Okay? That's rule number 1. Do what you feel is good. Do what you feel is fun. I shouldn't be telling you what to do, and neither should you tell other people what to do. Just do you, have fun, whatever. I, personally, am not going to be gambling anymore on 2x's and stuff like that. I've had it with that. I'm just right there. Here, it's like, okay, I saved up for months. Here's my reward for it. Done. Done deal. That's it. I don't even care what comes out of these 110 shards. I'm getting a void legendary. Simple as that. Now, I do hope that there's going to be something else along the way. That would be nice, right? But yeah, this is still a good deal in my opinion. Now, what I do feel though is when we look and compare ancients and void shards, I think they missed the ball in that department. I think Ancient Shard guaranteed events should also be 110. I think they should just be the same. I don't see the reasoning why Ancient Shard should be like 150, because that, honestly, 140 or 150 doesn't really make sense, since you're getting normally getting a legendary after 200 anyway. The deal here is that you're only on a 1x event, but you're getting it after 110 voids. Or I would do it for Ancients the same way. I would put those two on the same level. Why? Well, you're getting the same type of champions out of there. You're getting rare, epic, legendary with the same rates. So it's already harder to get void shards. Why would you, that's a difficulty in itself already. So I don't understand why they would raise this to 140 or whatever crazy amounts they have there. Those events to me kind of fall off a little bit. Then I'd rather gamble. The same would be with void shards, by the way. If they would be so bold to start putting these things at 140, 150, no, then it's time to start gambling, because then they're actually manipulating the percentages. But right now, if you look at it, statistically, 110 is still where you want to be for a legendary. It's right there. It can't really go up. If it goes up, then you're actually going to the gambling territory where it's better to gamble. And there's a lot of people in that gambling territory already. They're already there. They're already saying, oh, it's 110, that's too much. I'm going to gamble. I might pull a better one. That's their choice. I don't blame them. I understand. But for me, I'm fine with giving 110 and getting this legendary. Now, what does Shakur do? He has an A1, 50% chance to sleep, 75% when booked. This is handy to know for the rest of his kit, but 75% chance on A1 is pretty nice for waves and stuff like that. Venom Storm is his AoE, attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit has a 100% chance when booked, placing a 5% poison debuff for 4 turns. 4 turns poison debuff, it's pretty unusual. The second hit has a 75%, 100% when booked, chance of placing the big boy defense down for 3 turns. So 3 turn cooldown, 3 turn defense down, 4 turn poison debuff, also not unimportant. So that's a pretty unique move right there. Also one of the reasons, by the way, why I do think it's pretty good to go for this, because champions with the unique abilities are as unique. So if you would ever need this for some dungeon content or whatever they bring, or whatever meta comes in, maybe with the rebalancing of our buffs in arena, or blessings in arena, I'm sorry, the poison blessing or something like that, who knows? We don't know. It might be that Shakur actually gets play in the future, and then you might miss out if you don't go for it now. Heartstopper attacks one enemy, then attacks one time at random. If the target is under a poison debuff, will ignore shield, block damage, and unkillable buffs. Grants an extra turn. If this kills an enemy, also resets the cooldown of the Venom Storm, the A2, if this attack kills 2 enemies. Okay, so if it attacks one, kills that, and attacks another one, kills that, you get your Venom Storm back. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even think that really makes that much of a difference here. And why not? Well, because it's mainly the passive here, which makes this guy kind of cool and very unique as well. Instantly attacks enemies with a default skill whenever they receive damage from poison debuffs placed by this champion. When hitting enemies under poison debuffs, heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. Let's go back to the A1. 75% chance to sleep. So what does this mean? This means if you go into your A2, you poison the dudes, they take a turn, he immediately steps in and goes, wait a minute, whoop, go to sleep. Anyone who takes a turn, there's no cooldown on this passive. So if he poisons the whole team, he has a 75% chance to sleep every one of those champions before they take a turn. At least if he has the accuracy for it, of course. And that's the thing with this champion. I'm not completely sure if you build this guy as a damage dealer, since his AoE is a double hitter, or if he hits hard or not. I don't know all these things, to be fair, but I also don't really know where I'm going to use this champion. But that's really not the point at this moment, because for me, my account, there's not that many champions that I'm looking for that will specifically change anything in the game right now. I can improve a lot of my teams, definitely, but the main issue with my account is not champions, it's gear. And along the way, all I really want to do is just collect as many champions as I can, and you know, more champions means more options. We never know what's going to be there in the future for us, so who knows, maybe Shagur will be useful in that area. Right now, I believe the only place people are recommending him is the Sand Devil, the new dungeon, or fairly new, I guess. And that could be useful for myself because I have been struggling there, to be fair. I do have a Neri, I do have Ninja, all those champions that are suggested, but to be completely honest, I just don't want to rebuild my Ninja or any other champion really to do the dungeon, because all the champions that have been named that we can use, I already built them for specific things in other places, and to me the oil isn't worth it right now to actually build a team for that. So maybe this guy could be like a fresh start and just, you know, right out the gates be thrown into the Lion's Den and attack the Sand Devil. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, that's my take on it. You can hate me for it. I don't really care. We're gonna pull 110 shards. Now, there are some champions, of course, that I want. Any good arena champions will do. Is there any non-arena champion that I would like? Well, Krisk could probably. You can use Krisk in arena, but it doesn't really happen that often. But I would take that. Acrisia would be a blessing. But we're only 10 shards into Mercy, so I don't really expect a legendary apart from the one we see right here. But let's get right into it, and let's hope for some luck. So, bunch of blues, which is going to be most of the thing that's going to be happening right here. Yep. Big ol' rare tax. I'm not looking for any rares as far as I know. So, do a quick one. Sky Touched, pretty good champion. Mainly, this heal right here is insane. Heals for a lot. Can also place the block debuffs and revive on death. Very good champion. Keep it going. Boom. And another Sea of Blues. Nothing that we need though. Whisper is new. That's a new one. That's one that I actually did not have yet. So that's also pretty cool. I forgot what this one did actually. Now I remember why I forgot. Not much. Not much. Right. Another epic, 12th the Maimed. Kind of a meme. He can, like, I used one at 50 on an alt account once, and he can be like a filler champion if you don't really have anything better going on it. But I would never 60 one of those. Oh, there's 10x Madame Saris. Well, that's my third one, so I definitely don't need any more now. Inquisitor Shamail, that's only my second one. That's actually pretty huge as well, because that means I can build some speed teams for stage 7, I believe, of the Sand Devil. Tyraku had a video using Shamail, and I didn't have one, so I tried some other champions. But this guy seemed to be like an easier fit or something for the teams that were being shown. So, cool. I'll take that. Shamail, good. So not too much yet, but we did get a couple of epics. This one right here, HW is what he calls himself, but it's HWZ. He has a video on this together with YST showcasing this champion in the arena. You should go check it out because it's kind of nutty what she does. It's with this passive, right? Attacks an enemy champion with a default skill whenever they are healed or receive a buff. Attacks one random enemy if multiple enemies are healed or receive a buff at the same time. HW uses their just like one-shot Duchesses and stuff like that. Like they put up a buff and she's like, whoop, goes up and just kills a Duchess. You should check out his video, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's pretty crazy, actually. So maybe I'll keep a copy of her just to mess around with it. I got 2 apparently, so again, I can put books into her. Okay, guys. Not sure what happened. I think my microphone was pressed off during that whole explosion of emotions. I don't know. Anyway, I had to cut a whole piece of footage right after that Necro part. After the Necro part, there's not much else that happened other than me pulling sugar, really. So it's going to be a shorter video than it normally was, but that's fine. That's good. I did want to go over Necro the Great's kit really quick, since maybe you're not too familiar with him. Neither was I. The only thing I knew was that he is very good in arena and he protects your nukers usually. So let's go over this real quick. So Ascended A1 attacks an enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% win book chance of placing a 50% decrease attack. The big boy debuff for 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted. So that's great. That means he doesn't really need accuracy for this. He just throws out decrease attack on people. 3-time hitter, 30% chance when booked. You're gonna have a decent chance of landing that. Okay. Teams up with allies to attack 1 enemy. Allies under ally protection buffs placed by this champion. Important, placed by this champion will join the attack. Allies joining the attack will use their default skills. Grants an extra turn if no enemies are killed during this attack. So yeah, you're gonna see this A1 going off a lot. That's so you have a pretty big chance, if there's no block debuffs on, that you're gonna get this off. Can't be resisted, and you're gonna be A1ing a lot, so pretty cool. Places a block debuffs buff, 50% ally protection buff, and a 25% strengthen buff on an ally for 3 turns. 3 turn cooldown, 3 turn buff. Super nice. And the ally protection buff cannot be removed. So no strips, none of that nonsense. That's why he's so good. Whenever an ally is attacked while under an ally protection buff placed by this champion, places a shield buff on the ally equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Nice. 30% of this, so you just load him up with HP. The Occurs only if the ally does not already have a shield buff placed by this champion. Also decreases the cooldown of this champion's Legion of the Damned skill by 2 turns if this shield is placed. That's decent. That's pretty good. Okay. Places a block debuff buff and 25% strengthen buff for 3 turns on the ally with the lowest max HP at the start of each round. Also places 50% protection buff on them for 6 turns. And it can't be removed. So yeah, this move right here is insane. This is insanity. He doesn't even have to take a turn. It's just the start of each round. He places strengthen and block debuffs and an ally protection for 6 turns. On the one with the lowest max HP was probably your nuker. And ally protection can't even be removed. You can strip the rest. He can't. But he's always going to have that little bit of I'm taking some of the damage, no matter what happens. Crazy. Crazy. And then he also has 60 resistance in all battles. This guy is just a beast for Arena, man. I'm super happy with this guy. Like, I would have been happy with this guy, just having him, but this on top of it is just the icing on the cake, okay? Yeah, we got it, man. We got ourselves Sugar and Necro. Pretty cool. I'm really happy with these two. That's gonna be it for this week. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I get to see you guys next week again. If you're on the free-to-play series, good luck to you guys. That's been a blast, to be honest. Yeah, you'll get to see more of that in the future, so hang on for that, alright? See you guys later. Have a nice week. Peace.